Kodi, your dad being there the other night made me really happy. And it was making me think about when I was super young and my dad would give me good advice and I would be a brat about it and kind of brush it off. So, is there anything that your dad told you back in the day about becoming an actor and getting into the business that, you kind of brushed off, but now realize is an invaluable piece of advice?
I mean, there's countless things. I would have to say, like in that aspect of just what a father passes on to a son, there's countless things. But I would guess one thing that just stands strong and straight up true is um as a young person, when things become hard and you face adversity, a lot of the time you can retreat or you want to give up. And he would always just have the reminder, of basically the gratitude that I should have for the opportunity that I was within at such a young age. And I can only thank him so much that I stuck to my guns and stuck to my passion and find myself where I am today, which is more of an immovable stance on my craft.
Well, we'll as viewers thank him as well because you're here and you're delivering great work nonstop, and I love it. I did want to go back to something else you brought up at the Q&A the other night. So the hula hoop thing. So that wasn't originally meant to be in the film at all, and it was just a tool that Jane was using during the prep process.
I believe it's a bit of both. She did want it in the film, and she was kept throwing thoughts out that was like, I think he might do this in his spare time, or there's not a lot to do on the ranch, so I think this might be a thing for exercise. Or she just start playing with the kind of quantum soup of it all. And yes, at the same time, it was something we did to kind of just limber up and play and clear the cachet of our mind in character development. But yeah, she would always bring it with her on set, and we would find a special place where we could put it. And I think it was put in the greatest place.
Spot on. All right, big broad question for you now. Was there any particular day on the shooting schedule that had you saying, this one day, or maybe even this one particular scene, that's the day I'm going to have my work cut out for me the most?
Honestly, I have to be honest. Like on every single film, there's that. There's either you're in ice cold water, you have to be naked or something. You have to do a very performative, crying scene or a very angry, raging scene. And with Peter, if we were to see his kind of stock market line of energy throughout the movie, it's just a very straight, and subtly played out line and very controlled. So no, like I didn't have that day where I have that set anxiety of like, okay, here's that big thing coming. He was just very solid and rooted in who he is. So I loved that. It was such a relaxing way to go into a whole, few months.
All right, now because you made me curious, an even bigger question of all the films you've done, is there one particular day that was just like freaking you out the most to jump into on any of your films?
I've been set on fire. I have done a lot of my own stunts on wires. I've done a lot of stuff. Let's just put it that way: sword fighting, horse riding. One of the scariest things that I did was on a movie called Alpha, where I had to be in a 12-foot deep, basically makeshift tin swimming pool. And it was supposed to be heated, but it wasn't. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So it was ice cold in winter in Vancouver. And then there was a plexiglass over the whole top of the pool. I had 80 pounds of bear furs on me, a wig, no goggles, no oxygen. And I had to swim from one side and pop up in a little hole at the other side. Terrifying.
All right, to kind of flip that other question on its head now, was there a particular day on Power of the Dog specifically where you went into a scene with like a plan in your head and then on the spot realized that it needed more time and workshopping and maybe even a pivot?
Yes. Yeah. I would say the scene where the cowhides have been given away and Benedict comes back. That's more his scene. That's him. So it was really him taking center stage. But at the same time, it was the one point where we do see the kind of direct, internalized, really fast kind of computerized thinking of Peter when he's outside of the barn. There was a shot where he's freaking out. And I'm not even sure if it made it back in, but I think almost because it gave away a little bit too much. Every time we went over that line of showing a bit more, we didn't put it in there. But I remember that was a day that kind of struck me.
The precision with showing his plan in this movie is so expertly crafted. I don't care how many times I've seen it, I still can't quite get over it.
Absolutely. It was very brave of Jane to, and, Peter, I'm sure, to have taken out a lot of the things that we did have in there. There was this safety backup footage of kind of if it didn't sell enough to go more in that direction, him talking to himself in the mirror, kind of hyping himself up, weird things he was saying to himself that would give you an eerie feeling, but it just, we didn't need that.
That point's making me wonder, were there any deleted scenes that you could remember? Any other of
Yeah, I mean,
Peter's
there was that
experiences?
one. I don't know if I know. I'm sure that Jane would want to kind of stay more quiet about it,
Mm-hmm.
but just to enforce the illusion. But yeah, there was a scene that we played with where he was about to go out and hunt a rabbit or something, and he was staring at himself in the mirror and had kind of a Norman Bates or like American Psycho moment where he pointed himself in the mirror and like shot, or he would say things like, they can't see you, you're not up, down, left, right, literally spelling it out. So I think that's more just from an editorial standpoint, just to have that safety and that backup where if he's not obvious enough to drop in those leaks, but he didn't need it. He didn't need it.
Definitely not.
No.
All right, turning to your co-stars now, is there anything that you saw anyone else do on the set of Power the Dog that, makes you say, I'm going to put that technique in my back pocket and I'm going to try that on a future film?
Dang. Yeah, Kirsten. I mean, I've done this before, but she just affirmed it. I guess Kirsten does this thing where she, for the drunk scenes, would spin around in a circle. So there would be a lot of days, but you just see her in your peripheral vision spinning around in a circle somewhere by herself, which was quite sad. But yeah, it worked. It worked.
That just like immediately made my head hurt a little, but
Didn't
I
it? Yeah.
respect the dedication. You got to do what you got to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, it
All
worked.
right. Let's talk about this Oscar nomination and specifically what it means to you, because you've been at it for so many years now. And I keep hearing the term breakthrough performance and it drives me a little nutty. But even after all that experience, does having an Oscar nomination to your name kind of give you that extra layer of confidence or validation?
Well, yeah, if that doesn't rid me of the label of up and coming, I don't know what will. But again, with humility and just knowing how it goes, I will take that label with 2 cents. I know for everyone, it takes over 10 years to become an overnight success, unless you're extremely lucky. So yeah, it can be funny sometimes though in that sense, but honestly, I'm just privileged because, as you say, I've been at it for a very long time, and the recognition in that sense is not just like honoring my career or just this specific job that I even got it for. It really is seeing eye to eye with my personal life and the adversities that I've faced, and every single one that I've pushed through to keep succeeding on every movie is a stepping stone to get to this point. So yeah, it goes much farther for me, that's for sure.
So I know there's much more in this process to come, but thus far, has there been any, super memorable award season interaction or congratulations thus far?
Not really. Like, I'm not one to get too starstruck, but it obviously is very cool. You go into certain events like LACMA or SAG recently. All of them are going to be very similar in that sense that you're just rubbing shoulders with people that you grew up watching and admire. And it's lovely, when they give you a little fist bump or something like that. And you see this grounded human being behind all of those labels. And yeah, it's very cool.
All right, I got a very random question to end on because I get a little obsessed with IMDb trivia. I just love scrolling through the random things that are listed there. And I noticed
So
that
random.
yours was very short, though. There wasn't that much. So if
Mine's
you
so
could add one super random fact about yourself to that page, what would it be?
Oh, if I could add one to it?
Yep.
I was gonna say, I thought they were random enough. There's some weird things on there. Damn, that's a good question, and I'm always bad at quick on the gun like this. Hang on. I guess I have an addiction to cars. It's my vice. Outside of acting, it was the first thing I was ever obsessed with, collecting cars. I couldn't wait till I first got one. My first car was an ex-police car. I didn't even have a license yet. I bought it for like $4,000. Don't even know why I got a car without a license. I just loved it. And I've had many since then, and I'll keep doing it. It's the thing that kind of refreshes me and keeps me grounded, and it acts as a generator. When you get to reward yourself, responsibly after a job or after a few jobs, it's a nice, healthy kind of motivator, to keep going.
All right. So in conclusion, let's get you in a Fast and Furious movie.
Yes, that's where I'm going with this. Please. Next movie, Fast and Furious. What is it now? 18?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Thank you yet again. And another congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.